Tech Olive Oil Body Oil.
Seven-day police custody for Dipankar Burman. CBI gets 3-day custody of Bishal Phukon, Sumi Bora and 6 other accused. Massive development in Nagaland. Rio Cabinet endorses draft memorandum of settlement with the MPO. Final touch required before recommendation to centre, says government. Fresh twists and turns in Tripura politics ahead of village council polls. Pradyut Debbarma responds to BJP's alliance call. Says both BJP and Congress welcome if they support indigenous rights. India-China complete disengagement in the Depsang and Demchok at LAC, patrolling to comments. And Nehu Students' Union in Shillong stage protest outside Vice-Chancellor's office, demand removal of several key administrative officials.
Evening Prime is brought to you by Yamaha, Call of the Blue, Indian Super League, Let's Football, and Patanjali Dant Kanti, Full Fresh.
We start the bulletin with the top focus at the SAR. Owner of DB Stocks and Consultancy and kingpin of the multi-crore online trading scam, Dipankar Burman, has been remanded to 7-day police custody by the District and Sessions Court in Guwahati today. While the police had sought 14-day custody of Burman, the court granted only 7 days. Well, not only this, 8 other accused in the multiple online trading scams in Assam, including Bishal Phukon, Sumi Bora and Tarkik Bora and Ranjit Kakuti, have been remanded to 3-day custody by a special CBI court in Guwahati today. Well, they will be produced before the CBI court again on Saturday. So, for more details, we will cut across live to our Chief of Bureau, Arindam Das. All right, Arindam, a fast-paced development today. 7-day remand for Dipankar Burman, 3-day CBI custody for 8 others, including Bishal Phukon and Sumi Bora. Arindam.
Yes, Priya, there has been a series of developments since last evening. Dipankar Burman, the prime accused in the DB stock scam, was brought from Goa to Guwahati by Assam police, and straight away from the airport he was taken to the Panbazar police station, where he was grilled for the entire night, and in the daytime also he was grilled by top police officials, including the joint CP of Guwahati, Pratik Thube. And after that he was taken to hospital for medical examination, and following that he was produced before the Chief Judicial Magistrates Court in Guwahati, and from there he was brought to the District and Session Judge Court in Guwahati, where the police sought 40 days of custody for Dipankar Burman, but the court granted only 7 days of police custody. So if we look at it, then he has to be produced again before the District and Session Court on next day. Similarly, there was another development at the CBI Special Court where all the 8 accused were brought from Dibrugarh Central Jail to Guwahati by the CBI team. They were produced before the special CBI court in Guwahati, and CBI also got custody of Sumi Bora, Bishal Phukon, Tarkik Bora and 6 other accused in their custody. So they have to be produced again on Saturday when the 3-day remand period ends for the CBI. So there has been a series of development, and we have seen that since yesterday, ever since Dipankar Burman landed in Guwahati, there has been a gathering of victims at the police station as well as in both the courts, CJM court as well as the District and Sessions Court, where they were expecting that they will get some outcome, they will get some way to recover their money, because what we have come to know, over 27,000 investors have invested money in the DB stock exchange, and after that they have lost their money. So they wanted an answer from Dipankar Burman, but Dipankar Burman was brought to both the courts under tight police security, and that's why he was taken under tight security at the CJM court as well as the session court, and following that the police has got 7 days of police custody. So during these 7 days of police custody he will be thoroughly interrogated by Assam police because Assam police has a lot of questions for Dipankar Berman to be answered by him because he is the mastermind of the DB stock scam. Now similar development took place in Hyderabad also regarding this case because the Hyderabad police also raided the office of DB Exchange in Hyderabad which belonged to Dipankar Berman and arrested 2 people from that office apart from seizing huge cash from that office and we are getting from our sources that very soon a team from Hyderabad police will also land in Guwahati to take custody of Dipankar Berman because he will also be questioned by Hyderabad police. But if we technically see right now, since he is in the custody of Assam police for the next 7 days, so he will be first interrogated by Assam police, and after that since the CBI has officially taken over this case, so next he will be handed over to the CBI and CBI will also take him in their custody to interrogate him. And after that since Hyderabad police has also launched a similar crackdown on DB Stock Exchange scam, so Hyderabad police will also start investigation as well as interrogating Dipankar Berman as well as other accused in this case. So the right now a lot of development taking place not only in Assam but across the country. Right now only Hyderabad police has swung into action, but we are getting reports that many other states have registered cases against Dipankar Berman and his DB Stock Exchange. So in the coming days we can expect that police from other states will also be landing in Guwahati to take custody of Dipankar Berman for investigation and interrogating him.
Well, Arindam, Dipankar Berman is also wanted in several other states, as you already mentioned. So the ambit of the probe is getting bigger, isn't it?
That's right. It's getting bigger, and what police has right now stuck might be only the tip of the iceberg. Right now we know that only 27,000 people have invested their money in the DB stock scam across Assam. But I only personally met a person inside the CGM court who had said that in a particular place in Guwahati, over 15,000 people have invested money in Dipankar Berman's DB Stock Exchange. So if we look at it, he himself stated that he had invested 60 lakh rupees. So if we look at that magnitude, if a person has invested 60 lakh rupees, there might be many more. And the tune of the scam, which right now according to sources what we are getting is that over 2,000 crores might get much bigger. It might be above 10,000 or 20,000 crores. So in the coming days it will come to light as to how big is this scam, because right now the police or the CBI has just stuck the tip of the iceberg. But since the mastermind who was evading arrest, who was eloping for over 2.5 months, has finally landed in the police net, and police is right now interrogating him, and he will definitely spill the beans about how big is this scam. Priya.
Right, Arindam Das, thank you so much for all those details. All right, shifting focus to Nagaland now. Well, is the stage set for creation of the frontier Nagaland territory in the state? Well, the Nephew Rio-led state cabinet will soon make recommendations to the centre on the draft memorandum of settlement with the Eastern Nagaland People's Organisation, or the ENPO. Following a crucial cabinet meet in Kohima today, Minister KG Kenny, who is also the government spokesperson, announced that the Nephew Rio government has more or less endorsed the entire draft proposal on frontier Nagaland territory and is ready to recommend it to the centre.
More or less, the entire aspects have been covered. It's already a part of the proposals which they have forwarded to the state cabinet. It has the consent from the NLU as well as the NPO. And the government is in conformity and has endorsed more or less the entire proposals. It is in line with the thinking of the government. And it should be okay. And it is well taken by both sides since our honorable ministers are there. 3 of them are there from the Edpo area. And we have more or less accepted the entire MOS, the Memorandum of Settlement proposals by them.
Kenny, however, added that the draft proposal still requires a final touch and there is no time frame to submit the comments yet.
No time frame, but there is no reason for us to delay and keep this matter pending. So the final touches on both sides, that is, whatever we discuss today will go back to the NLU and NPO, and the government also. We have a commission in charge of this, so they too will be giving the final touches. That much is necessary, that's all.
The Nagaland government appealed to the ENPO to extend its October 31st deadline for submission of recommendation to the centre. The government spokesperson said that the ENPO has agreed to the request. Significantly, Kenya said that there will be no bifurcation of any department under the new arrangement.
There will be no bifurcation of any department here. It is just a higher grade being created in the eastern area. In the headquarters, wherever it falls, we will be creating certain posts against it. So it doesn't matter. Everything will be centralized here only. They are a part of our state and continue to be. So whichever department is there, 50 or more, it is all right. That part has been taken care of, that's what the staff said.
Kenny added that the proposal for 40 elected members and few governor-nominated members for the Frontier Nagaland Territory Administration is being considered by the government. Significantly, Kenny said that there cannot be a strict time frame for release of funds for FNT as funds come from the centre.
We see that the FNT will have a financial autonomy because, as per my sources, I've come to know that there will be a stipulated time frame for the state government to release any fund that comes from the Eastern Nagaland. And if it fails to release the funds in the stipulated time, then the governor can interfere. So is this true, sir?
You are right in a way. This was one point we touched. But as you know, funds are from the center. Sometimes they release it on time. Other times, you know how it is delayed. So no exact time frame can be worked out there, which I think the representatives have understood in total, and we will keep it without mentioning the time frames.
Well, as per the draft MOS with the ENPO, there will be no separate state, union territory or 6th scheduled council, and the spirit of Article 371A and state government's recommendation for autonomous council or authority will be maintained. Besides, there will be a functional coordination between the proposed FNT setup and state government and district administration. Significantly, the draft MOS says that the new setup will have no impact on Naga talks. 6 eastern districts of Nagaland will be part of the Frontier Nagaland Territory. The draft MOS proposes the new administrative setup to be known as Frontier Nagaland Territorial Authority, which will be constituted under Article 371A. As per government sources, the FNTA is proposed to have a total of 42 members, of which 40 will be elected and 2 nominated by the governor. The Executive Council of the new setup will have 9 members, including CEM and Deputy CEM. The governor will make the rules for first constitution of FNTA, which will have legislative, executive and financial powers. The MOS draft says that the laws, rules and regulations made by the FNTA will come into effect only after assent of the governor and publication in the State Gazette. Well, as per the draft proposal, the governor will allocate funds from state budget, keeping in view the population area, backwardness and topography of FNT.
ভাবিছা ভাবিছা যদি ভাবিছা নকহ যে ময়ো মিছা কোম্পানীৰে চাকৰি মোৰ নাই বেছি টকা পইচা
বুকুৰে নাচিকায় থাকিবি জাগি ওৰে ৰাতি মনে মনে গৈ ওলাম হাতত লৈ জঙাই বাতি
বহু যে নে তুমি ওচৰৰ জুখিব নোৱাৰো উদুলি মুদুলি চৌপাশে ৰদালি
পতঞ্জলি কচ্চি ঘানি বিশুদ্ধ সৰিয়হৰ তেলত বিশুদ্ধতাৰ তীব্ৰতা এনেকুৱা যি লৈ আহে চকুলৈ পানী আৰু যেতিয়া পৰিবেশন কৰা হয় তেতিয়া সকলোৰে মুখলৈ আহে পানী সোৱাদ আৰু বিশুদ্ধতাৰ সংযোগ পতঞ্জলি কচ্চি ঘানি সৰিয়হৰ তেল
Sham Steel Flexi Strong TMT Bar.
কাৰণ TMT কেৱল ষ্ট্ৰেংথে নহয় ফ্লেক্সিবিলিটিও আছে
TMT Flexi Strong তেতিয়া ঘৰ হ'ব চিৰদিনৰ বাবে ষ্ট্ৰং
News to keep you ahead. Evening Prime every day at 7 p.m.
গোগোদা বুলি মাতিছা মোৰ চকুত চাই হাঁহিছা মোৰ চাকৰি অইল ইণ্ডিয়াত বুলি চাগে ভাবিছা ভাবিছা যদি ভাবিছা নকহ যে ময়ো মিছা কোম্পানীৰে চাকৰি মোৰ নাই বেছি টকা
On to Tripura now. Well, politicking has picked pace in Tripura over the ensuing village council polls, with Tipra Motha founder Pradyut Debarma setting a condition in response to the BJP's alliance call. Debarma said any party wanting to come to an alliance will have to support indigenous rights.
My view is that we should all agree that development of the indigenous people and certain issues like land rights, constitutional rights and political and economic rights have to be agreed upon before we can come to any understanding. IPFT and Tipra Motha have no problem because more or less our demands, what we have been raising in memorandum, in writing, in our speeches is almost the same. Regarding BJP, if they are willing to support our demand, I don't see any reason why they should not come. Even Congress, if they are willing to support our demand, why should we object to them also? Our fight is not against any party. Our fight is for the empowerment of our community and we will do it.
All right, for more on this, we are being joined by Pinaki Das from Agartala. So, Pinaki, very interesting response by Motha founder Pradyut Debarma to BJP's alliance offer in village council polls. Well, it almost sounds like the Motha of pre-assembly election days, isn't it, Pinaki?
Priya, is a pre-election declaration, but as we can understand, a lot will depend on the further talks that is going on at New Delhi. The Motha chief had hinted, though BJP president had clearly said that they are in favor of going for this alliance, which is already there among the BJP, Tipra Motha and the IPFT, which they had formed before the parliamentary election, and that had given a very good result. But the Tipra Motha Supremo is in favor of the alliance, but on the condition that the demands and what has been signed in the tripartite agreement that is honored. The words that has been given in black and white, those are honored, and they have clearly said, he had clearly said the second phase of talk is starting by November 3rd week, it seems already. The TTADC will also be there, representative for the TTADC, and lot will depend on that. But as of now, Motha has not denied they are in favor of this alliance for the election, but at the same time he has kept the door open. Also, we can say, Priya. But another breaking news that just came is just before Diwali and the election coming very close. The state government today had just declared a 5% DA for the government employees. Priya.
Right, indeed, good news for the government employees in Tripura. So, Pinaki, does this signify the Motha's reluctance to tie up with BJP for the village council polls?
See, Motha had been always fighting for the tribal rights. For them, which party is there in center, it matters for them in the sense the Motha Supremo or the founder is of the clear vision that for him what matters is the tribal rights, the land rights, the socio-economic, political rights, which are important. So he has not denied, but he is little worried about what the ultimate fate of the agreement that has been signed. He is little apprehensive about that, though he is positive that the center as of now is positive, but earlier also he has seen he had to change his view and put pressure on the government to move the things in the right direction, as there were a lot of things including the parliamentary election, Manipur incident, due to which he had some face loss, we can say, but ultimately the center has called him. Now there are also discussions and pressure on Pradyut Kishore Debbarma in the sense because a section is also raising voice, including the opposition, that Motha has diverted away from their core demand of Greater Tripura land. He had changed his core demand, and on which he denied. He said he still holds the demand for Greater Tripura land, but how long he can continue that with that demand, and he needs some output also from the center, and on which the alliance or fighting together will depend, because if he can serve his people's dream or the demand that has been going on in Tripura for several decades, then he had also clearly said that we have to think for the second time.
Right, Pinaki Das, thank you so much for all those details. The administration of the Northeastern Hill University in Meghalaya seems to be in shambles, with protests after protests plaguing the once prestigious university. Amidst mounting pressure demanding for the immediate removal of Vice-Chancellor Professor P.S. Shukla, the Nehu Students' Union today have demanded the removal of several key administrative officials, including the Registrar, Deputy Registrar, besides others. Staging a protest outside the office of the Vice-Chancellor, NEHUSU demanded that the removal of the Registrar, Deputy Registrar, Academics Officer on special duty, Director of the College Development Council and the Guest House in charge. Well, Nehu Students' Union also urged the appointment of Pro-Vice-Chancellor at both the Shillong and Tura campuses to improve the university's administrative functionality, particularly during the Vice-Chancellor's absence. Carrying placards, the students voiced their discontent with the administration's handling of various issues, including appointments, procedural lapses and perceived favoritism in hiring practices. A memorandum was also submitted to the Vice-Chancellor.
we have already submitted. We submitted 2 memorandums actually. First, on the 10th of September 2024, this is the full memorandum that we have submitted initially, that what are the problems in the university, what are the demands. But having seen that we have not received any such the demands were not being fulfilled accordingly, we had to wait for the academic council meeting, but that was also being disrupted. And finally, this is our ultimate memorandum, whereby we have cited 2 basic demands of ours. First is the removal of all these incompetent personnel in our university, and secondly, we have demanded appointment of pro-vice chancellors in both the campuses of the university. So we have given him a deadline that is on the 5th of November 2024, that he must respond to our demands, and if he does not, then certainly we will have to we will have to talk, we'll have to sit another EC meeting, and then accordingly we will decide that what step we will be taking further.
Notably, Nehu Teachers Association has been demanding for the removal of Vice Chancellor Professor P.S. Shukla, citing alleged anti-tribal activities and mismanagement of the institution. Nehuta had also challenged the Vice Chancellor to prove his innocence by facing an independent inquiry committee comprising stakeholders from Nehu and leaders from the student bodies, pressure groups and politicians cutting across party lines from Meghalaya. Well, the VC had defended all the work he has done and dismissed the allegation that he is anti-tribal.
ভাবিছা যদি ভাবিছা নকহ যে ময়ো মিছা কোম্পানীৰে চাকৰি মোৰ নাই বেছি টকা পইচা
বুকুৰে নাচিকায় থাকিবি জাগি ওৰে ৰাতি মনে মনে গৈ ওলাম হাতত লৈ জঙাই বাতি
বহু যে নে তুমি ওচৰৰ জুখিব নোৱাৰো উদুলি মুদুলি চৌপাশে ৰদালি
নিষ্টেলৰ সৈতে নে খেলা খেল
নহলে হ'ব স্বাস্থ্য ফেল
স্বাস্থ্যৰ সৈতে হেতালি নেখেলিব। পতঞ্জলি ফিজিকেলি ৰিফাইণ্ড ৰাইচ ব্ৰাণ্ড তথা সয়াবিন তেল আনক আৰু সুস্বাস্থ্য পাওক।
মোৰ ছাল যেন কবিতা, কাৰণ ইয়াৰ চিৰসংগী ইটালিয়ান অলিভ অইল আৰু ভেষজৰ গুণেৰে সমৃদ্ধ জেক অলিভ অইল বডি অইল।
কবিতাৰ দৰে চালে জগাই তোলে মনত নতুন সুৰ।
বিশ্বাস কৰাৰ আগতে পৰীক্ষাটো কৰি লওঁ মেডাম।
পতঞ্জলি হানিক পৰীক্ষা কৰা হৈছে বিশ্বৰ প্ৰসিদ্ধ লেবত, আৰু পতঞ্জলি হানিয়ে পাছ কৰিছে বিশুদ্ধতাৰ 100ৰো অধিক ইণ্টাৰনেশ্যনেল পেৰামিটাৰ্ছ। সেইটো হৈছে মোৰ বিশুদ্ধতাৰ নায়ক
পতঞ্জলি হানি, 100ৰ ভিতৰত 100।
সম্বন্ধৰ নাই কোনো ৰাইট আৰু নাই কোনো ৰং, যিয়ে ফ্লেক্সিবল হয় সেয়ে ষ্ট্ৰং। ৰিলেশ্যনশ্বিপে হওক বা ঘৰ, সদায় ষ্ট্ৰং তেতিয়া হৈ ৰয় যেতিয়া তাত থাকে ফ্লেক্সিবিলিটি।
শ্যাম ষ্টিল ফ্লেক্সি ষ্ট্ৰং TMT বাৰ,
TMT ফ্লেক্সি ষ্ট্ৰং।
তেতিয়া ঘৰ হ'ব চিৰদিনৰ বাবে ষ্ট্ৰং।
New
In a major development, the disengagement between Indian and Chinese forces in eastern Ladakh's Depsang and Depchong plains, where tensions have persisted since the Galwan Valley clash in 2020, has been successfully completed. Both sides will exchange sweets on Diwali on October 31st to mark this positive step, said reports. Following this development, coordinated patrolling by both sides is set to begin soon, with ground-level commanders, brigadiers and below continuing discussions to determine the specific modalities and ensure stability in these sensitive border areas. Verification of disengagement is also actively underway, with both sides employing aerial and ground inspections to confirm the complete removal of temporary installations and troop withdrawals. While disengagement has been verified, local level talks are expected to continue regularly to maintain and manage the agreed upon patrolling protocols. Local military commanders from India and China met today at the line of actual control in Depsang and Demchong to finalize the disengagement efforts that were underway. India on October 21st announced that it reached an agreement with China on patrolling along the LAC, marking a breakthrough in ending the over 4-year-long military standoff, which began following the deadly clashes between the troops of both countries in June 2020 in Galwan.
Now that the two leaders have reached many important understandings, that will be the guidelines for the further development of our relations of our two countries. And I just hope that under the guidance of this consensus, our relations will be moving forward smoothly in the future, and our relations will not be restricted or interrupted by specific disagreements between our two sides. Because as two neighboring countries, it's quite natural we have some differences. The most important thing is how to handle and solve these differences.
So in a major development, the disengagement between Indian and Chinese forces in eastern Ladakh's Depsang and Depchok plains, where tensions have persisted since the Galwan Valley clash in 2020, has been successfully completed. The central government's decision to construct border fencing along the Indo-Myanmar border continues to be met with stiff opposition and widespread concern in parts of the region. Civil groups from Nagaland and Mizoram, including the Nagaland Indigenous Peoples Forum and Zo Reunification Organization, have strongly condemned the central government's decision to construct border fencing along the Indo-Myanmar border in Manipur's Tenopal, Chandel and Churachandpur districts. In a joint press statement, NIPF and Zoro expressed deep displeasure over what the groups call insensitive and disregard for the concerns of indigenous communities. According to the NIPF and Zoro, the border fence poses a severe threat to the cultural heritage and way of life of indigenous people, dividing their homelands and restricting traditional practices and interactions with counterparts across the border. The groups also criticized the government's abrupt decision to scrap the free movement regime, formalized in 2018 as part of the Act East policy, which allowed for hassle-free movement across the border. On to Sikkim now. Well, after winning the Sikkim by-polls, unopposed SKM candidates Aditya Gole and Satish Chandra Rai received their certificate of election today. Chief Minister P.S. Tamang's son Aditya Gole was elected as member of the Legislative Assembly from the Soreng Chakong constituency, while party member Satish Chandra Rai was elected from the Namchi Singathang seat. Sikkim Chief Minister Prem Singh Tamang congratulated the two party members and also expressed gratitude for the trust placed in the party with the uncontested victory in the by-elections. He added, while the assembly stands without opposition, it only deepens their responsibility to serve all the people of Sikkim. Notably, SKM won both seats uncontested as SDF candidates withdrew their candidature one after other. The fight in the by-polls was supposed to be a direct fight between the SDF and SKM after Citizen Action Party nominations for both seats were disqualified by the Election Commission. All right, in some other stories now. As Deepotsav begins at Ayodhya on Diwali Eve, over 25 lakh earthen lamps are being lit together to illuminate the city. Well, the initiative is aimed at finding a place in the Guinness Book of World Records. Well, this is the first Deepotsav celebration in Ayodhya after the consecration ceremony of the Ram Temple held in January this year. Along with Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, about 1,100 people performed a special aarti on the banks of the river Sardio. On the occasion, various cultural programs including dance performances and spiritual discourses are being held to highlight the rich heritage of Ayodhya and its significance in Hindu mythology.
श्री राम होने लगे भगवान विवेक, कभी विभीषण ने भेद बताया, राक्षस था वो बड़ा ही नहीं, जैसे मारा गजना भी पर ऊपर गिरा पहाड़ सा रावण, बात बात में खेत हुआ वो आपे बलशाली दावन। जय श्री राम, जय श्री राम, विजय हुए रघुपति राम, राम नाम से गूंजा आकाश, गुंजायमान धरती तमाम। विजय उपरांत सीता को लेकर पुष्पक विमान पर चढ़े भगवान, आते होंगे कुछ ही देर में लक्ष्मण सीता संग श्री राम।
श्री हनुमत ने इस कथा भरत को लघु रामायण सुनाई। यह कथा कवि वाल्मीकि ने रामायण में है बतलाई। आगे क्या हुआ वो भी तो सुनिए। समाचार सुन भरत ने शीघ्र अनुज शत्रुघ्न को संदेशा भेजा, करो तैयारी, भाई आते हैं, मेरा तो मुंह को आए कलेजा। कमी ना रहे कुछ स्वागत में, 14 बरस बाद आते जो थे सब।
বিশ্বাস কৰাৰ আগতে পৰীক্ষাটো কৰি লওঁ মেডাম
পতঞ্জলি হানিক পৰীক্ষা কৰা হৈছে বিশ্বৰ প্ৰসিদ্ধ লেবত আৰু পতঞ্জলি হানিয়ে পাছ কৰিছে বিশুদ্ধতাৰ 100ৰো অধিক ইণ্টাৰনেশ্যনেল পেৰামিটাৰ্ছ সেইটো হৈছে মোৰ বিশুদ্ধতাৰ নায়ক
পতঞ্জলি হানি 100ৰ ভিতৰত 100 পতঞ্জলি কচ্চি ঘানি বিশুদ্ধ সৰিয়হৰ তেলত বিশুদ্ধতাৰ তীব্ৰতা এনেকুৱা যি লৈ আহে চকুলৈ পানী আৰু যেতিয়া পৰিবেশন কৰা হয় তেতিয়া সকলোৰে মুখলৈ আহে পানী সোৱাদ আৰু বিশুদ্ধতাৰ সংযোগ পতঞ্জলি কচ্চি ঘানি সৰিয়হৰ তেল
অসম চৰকাৰৰ স্বাস্থ্য বিভাগ মেডিকেল এডুকেশ্যন ৰিচাৰ্চ ডিপাৰ্টমেণ্ট আৰু শ্ৰীমন্ত শংকৰদেৱা ইউনিভাৰ্চিটিৰ অন্তৰ্ভুক্ত নীলাচল কলেজ অফ এলাইড হেল্থ ছায়েন্সেছে আগবঢ়াইছে তিনিটাকৈ সুকীয়া পাঠ্যক্ৰম বেচেলৰ ইন মেডিকেল লেবৰেটৰী টেকনলজি বেচেলৰ অফ ফিজিঅথেৰাপি আৰু ডিপ্ল'মা ইন মেডিকেল লেবৰেটৰী টেকনলজি অত্যাধুনিক লেবৰেটৰীৰ সুবিধা আৰু অভিজ্ঞ ফেকাল্টিৰে শিক্ষাদান কৰা নীলাচল এডুকেশ্যন ফাউণ্ডেশ্যন ট্ৰাষ্টৰ অধীনত নীলাচল কলেজ অফ এলাইড হেল্থ ছায়েন্সেছ পাঠ্যক্ৰমসমূহৰ নামভৰ্তি চলি আছে যোগাযোগৰ ঠিকনা নীলাচল কলেজ অফ এলাইড হেল্থ ছায়েন্সেছ গোটানগৰ জালুকবাৰী অপজিট ইণ্ডিয়ান অইল পেট্ৰল পাম্প নেশ্যনেল হাইৱে 37 গুৱাহাটী
Late Kailashnath Sharma Memorial Trust organizes Invitational Inter-School
All right, on to international focus now. With the US election days just away, officials in the most competitive battleground states are bracing for misinformation, conspiracy theories, threats and possible violence. In Philadelphia, Detroit and Atlanta, 3 of former President Donald Trump's favorite targets for false claims of voter fraud, officials have fortified their operations against a repeat of the chaos of 2020. Philadelphia's ballot counting warehouse is now surrounded by fencing topped with barbed wire. In Detroit and Atlanta, some election officers are protected by bulletproof glass. In Wisconsin, election workers have been trained on de-escalation techniques and polling stations rearranged so workers have escaped routes if they are menaced by protesters. In Arizona, an epicenter in 2020 for false claims by Republicans about rigged voting, the Secretary of State is working with local officials on how to respond to misinformation, including deep-fake images of purported fraud. As opinion polls show Republican Trump and Democratic Vice President Kamala Harris neck and neck heading into Tuesday's vote, officials say there is one thing that they can't predict or control: what Trump and his allies might say on election night as the votes are still being counted. US President Joe Biden is under fire for calling supporters of Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump as garbage. Well, during his speech to Latino advocacy organization, the incumbent POTUS made an embarrassing blunder that immediately brought back memories of Hillary Clinton's notorious 2016 characterization of Trump voters as deplorables. Well, soon after Biden's remarks garnered backlash from Trump supporters, White House spokesperson Andrew Bates clarified that the US president referred to the hateful rhetoric at the Madison Square Garden rally as garbage. Well, following the uproar, Biden himself clarified his remarks on social media, saying he referred to the hateful rhetoric about Puerto Rico spewed by Trump's supporter at his Madison Square Garden rally as garbage. Well, meanwhile, Republicans promptly hit back at Biden for calling Trump supporters and patriots garbage. A few well-known Democrats even started to distance themselves from Biden's remarks, with Pennsylvania Governor Joe Shapiro declaring on CNN that he would never insult the good people of Pennsylvania or any Americans, even if they chose to support a candidate and that I didn't support, unquote.
I don't know the Puerto Rican that I know, or Puerto Rico where I'm in my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
Well, amid ongoing offensives against Hamas in Gaza and Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Israeli military on Tuesday warned Iran that it would be hit very hard if it retaliated against Israel for its attacks on Tehran last week. Addressing military personnel who took part in the weekend strike, Lieutenant General Herzi Halevi said that certain targets had been set aside because we may be required to do this again. On Saturday, Israeli fighter jets carried out pre-dawn airstrikes against Iranian military targets and missile production facilities in retaliation for a major ballistic missile attack by Tehran earlier this month. Well, that attack, which involved around 200 missiles, was itself launched in retaliation for the killing of several Tehran-aligned militant leaders, including Hezbollah chief Hassan Nasrallah and a Revolutionary Guards commander. Iran confirmed that the Israeli attack had targeted military sites in the capital Tehran and other parts of the country, but said it had caused limited damage. In a post on X, Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei said that Israel's attack should neither be exaggerated nor minimized. Without elaborating, he described the attack as a miscalculation. On Monday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that Iran was seeking to develop a stockpile of nuclear bombs aimed at destroying his country. At least 64 people have been killed in flash floods sweeping the eastern Spanish region of Valencia following torrential rain on Tuesday that left roads and towns underwater, local authorities said. Rescuers worked in the dark to scour the floodwaters, rescuing several people. Television pictures from the town of Util showed, and emergency services were still working to reach the worst-hit areas. Well, Carlos Mazin, the regional leader of Valencia, said some people remained isolated in inaccessible locations. Emergency services in the region urged citizens to avoid all road travel and to follow further updates from official sources, and a military unit specialized in rescue operations was deployed in some places to help local emergency workers. Well, Spain's state weather agency AEMET on Tuesday declared a red alert in Valencia, a major citrus growing region, with some areas such as Turis and Util recording 200 millimeters of rainfall. It has since lowered the alert to yellow as the rain had largely stopped. Trains to the cities of Madrid and Barcelona were cancelled due to the flooding, and schools and other essential services were suspended in the worst-hit areas. The death toll appeared to be the worst in Europe from flooding since 2021, when at least 185 people died in Germany. All right, now shifting focus to the entertainment segment. American pop rock band Maroon 5 is all set to perform in India. The band will perform at